Hi, hello, everyone who is watching me live, or everyone who is going to watch this recording of the goal setting workshop. So, I want to welcome you to this workshop and set the tone for 2025, and maybe share with you what we are going to do in this 1 hour together today. I really love doing these mindset sessions. The only thing I would prefer even more is to see you all as you are present here, or even those of you who will watch the recording, and maybe answer your questions straight away when you have them. But we will do what we can with this 1 hour. And again, what we are going to speak about and get out of this session is not just how to set goals and how to achieve them, but how to enjoy the process towards those goals. Because if we have to be honest, um, the goal achievement, the process of goal achievement is maybe 99% of the time. And the goal achieved, the very kind of situation of that goal being achieved is just 1% out of it. So, how can we set the right goals that we want from the bottom of our hearts? How can we achieve them, but at the same time, be really happy with ourselves as we go through that process of goal achieving? So, this is the plan for today. Those of you who are watching me live, just say hi, please, and let me know if you're happy with the plan for today, or maybe what your expectations are from this session. Because every time when we set expectations for anything, that's when we put our brain um, in the most effective mode, right? Where we give our brain direction with the right questions, like, what do I want to achieve from this session? This is the question I always ask myself when I join any session with my coaches. Like, why am I here? Not just in this role, but why am I here in this session today? Why am I here in this conversation or situation right now? What is the goal or intention for this session? So if you can just let me know, and I want to welcome you. I can see Helena is saying hi, which is great. And it's good to have you here, even for how many minutes you have. That's okay, Helena. But if you set your intention correctly, even those few minutes or little time that you have will be a very productive time. Okay, so set your intention. You can do it out loud and let me know in the chat, or you can just do it in your mind. And I want to welcome Yelena as well, and everybody else who is here who didn't manage to say hi. So, my question would be, what do you think is the first thing we have to start with when it comes to goal setting for 2025? Because it's 2025 right now. So, what is the first thing we have to start with? If you can just let me know what you think, what your thoughts are. The first thing that we absolutely have to start with, and that is the foundation for goal setting. Saying that, I didn't always know this, and I was not starting from here. What I was starting with is what goals I want to achieve in that year. But that's not the correct way to start for the reasons I will mention later. So, what is the first thing you have to start with when you are setting a goal? The very first thing you have to start with is, yes, mindset. Helena is saying mindset, yes. You have to make sure that you are carrying the emotions, maybe memories into 2025 that you want to. So basically, if you have any emotional baggage or anything that doesn't serve you in this year and you don't want it to be part of 2025, you should release it. You should let it go. And this can be things from 2024, which is the past year, or even from years before. Because if we are going to start setting goals, let's say this year I would love to have $5,000 consistently every single month, but the emotional baggage you are carrying from last year or years before is that I am not worthy enough to get this and this money, or I'm not good enough to teach this and this skill to my students and they reward me with this and this money. And you may have a lot of proof, a lot of events and situations that happened last year and years before that are kind of like proving to you that yes, you are not worthy enough, you are not good enough. So, what needs to happen first before you set goals is to release all of this. And for you to release anything that doesn't serve you, you need to first understand what it is and how you can extract lessons from it. So, there is a, let's say, event that happens that you were not happy with, maybe a communication or conversation you had with someone and it didn't go well, or maybe you got fired, or maybe you got actually a job that you don't like doing, or maybe you got a burnout, or you split up, or maybe somebody in your family died, or maybe somebody stole your money, or something else. Okay, there can be many things that happened which made you upset at that time when it happened. And then the question is, can you be the reverse engineer? Meaning, can you analyze the situation in a reverse mode or way to see what were the thoughts which then affected feelings and then affected actions for you to get those results you got and for you to experience the event or that situation or moment you experienced? So that's a very important thing, because one thing is to kind of like even identify what are the events that happened and to choose the impactful one. But then, even if you know the event that happened and you don't know the patterns that you have, or maybe what were the thoughts, feelings, actions leading to this event, then you won't be able to process it correctly and take the right lessons from that event correctly. So I don't know if you have any events or moments or situations that happened last year that didn't make you happy or made you upset at that moment. If you can just write them down, those of you who can engage and want to be part of this. If you don't want to write them down, you can just think about them to yourself. What is that something that happened to you that didn't make you happy at that moment? You were upset, and ideally, you didn't want to leave that situation again and again, right? So we call it negative, positive, just to give it some names, but um, we are polarizing it. It can be called different ways, but basically, a situation or event that didn't make you happy at that moment when you were experiencing it, what it was. I can share mine if you are okay with that, so that I can give you an example. Who would like to see my experience or see my example? You can just say yes in the chat, just to give you some ideas how you can do this before we even do goal setting. You can just let me know if you are happy for me to share my example. I will share it. Okay, so yes, you are saying yes, and Nicole actually sharing her example. Being lied to about a job that I got in June 2024, it has zero respect for its staff. However, it has motivated me to build my own business and leave. So, what is Nicola doing? Nicola is sharing an event that happened. In a way, she's kind of like describing it, but at the same time, she is sharing the lessons she already learned. Thank you, Nicola, for sharing it. So, that's a very good example, and I will give you my example as well with very specific examples. So one of the events or situations or experiences I had last year, well, I will show positive event and negative event, or positive example, negative example. So I will start with a negative one. At a time it was negative and it was hard, which was my burnout earlier this year. So maybe some of you have had burnout, some of you haven't, but it's this state of mind where you feel depleted of energy. You don't feel motivated and inspired to do anything, even the things you actually enjoy doing normally. You just don't have energy, willingness, and yes, any intention to do anything. You just feel like you don't want to do anything. You kind of like lost not just energy, motivation, but even the meaning of life. Um, I think for the first time I was in that situation last year. And so that is the kind of event, okay, that happened. We can call it event, even though it's not just one kind of like specific thing that happened on Thursday or I don't know, on Monday. And now I'm going to be the reverse engineer and try to figure out what was the thought, feeling, and action that took me or guided me to this event. So the thoughts were for me that I need to control how my clients are performing, what kind of results they are getting. This was about family members as well, but now I'm just going to focus on the work front. So how my clients are performing. Like I was thinking like this is my control. I have to do something with it. I'm responsible for my clients' results. These were the thoughts. Then the feelings, I was feeling actually out of control because, or like hopeless, helpless, not hopeless, helpless, because I actually couldn't control the clients of my results. And then, let's say the action I was taking, I was, yes, I was anxious, that's a feeling as well. But maybe I was then kind of like pushing my clients in the coaching sessions or maybe in the chat when I was supporting them just to get the results they actually wanted to get. And I was pushing them in my words, written words or verbal spoken words. And this didn't make me feel happy. And then I got a burnout. So what I did right now, I analyzed what actually led me to that. That I was trying to control things that made me feel anxious, and I was pushing the clients do certain things or in certain way, even if they didn't want. So I wanted their results even more than they wanted it. And that's what was happening. And it felt really, I felt really down, very, very much down. And I didn't want this to be repeated, of course. So it was a very kind of like negative moment at that time. Now, when I tried to understand patterns from here, and I had more events like this throughout my year, I understood when I was comparing those events that actually my pattern was that I was trying to control things way too much. So I was in this controller mode or saboteur when I thought I am the one who is responsible for everything and I am the one who can do everything the best, right? And this led me to the events or results I got. So basically, when I looked at it, at these patterns, like I thought I'm in control of everything, the lesson I wanted to extract from here, because I don't want this event to be repeated this year or even next year. I don't want another burnout. So I had to extract the lessons by understanding the patterns that those events had in common or even similar patterns. And the lesson was I am only control for my part. So I give 100% from myself, but it's still just 50%. What the client does with it is another 50%. So together we can get amazing results, 100% results, right? But it's not my kind of, I don't have 100% share here. Yes, 100% energy and commitment, but just 50%. So I had to understand this, like what is, I can only control what is in my influence and control, right? I can only impact those things which are in my control, and then more of kind of encourage the client to take responsibility for their results. And this is a valuable lesson. So imagine I hadn't had learned this lesson today, I potentially would be having another burnout or maybe next year. So what I was trying to show you with this is that it's important to understand what happened last year and like both positive kind of impactful events, because usually those impactful events have impact on our emotions and then on our um, years to come, or even the things results we get in our life or even goals we set. Then once we identify it, we need to figure out what led us to this event, what are the thoughts, feelings and actions. And then if you identify, let's say, 6 events like this or 7, then you can even see some common things that all these events have in common. And then this can be your lesson for 2025 that you take with you in 2025. Let me know if this resonates with you. If it resonates with you, just say resonates. Yes, and Helena is just saying, know what we can control and what we can't. Yes, it's so easier said than done, right? I learned it the harder way because of my burnout, but I still learned it. So the lesson is kind of the appreciation for what that event has taught you. So that means when we ask, what is the lesson from here? And I had a positive event as well. I will just give you another example so that you can see it. And I would love to hear your examples of your thoughts, feelings, and actions that led you to that event that happened, either positive or negative. So the positive one was, there were a few again, but one of them was I really wanted to take my mom on a cruise ship for a long, long time, a long time. Just I wanted her to see different countries, to just be on the cruise ship and not to have to take care of anything. Because my mom sometimes takes too much care of everything, so I just wanted her to be pampered and spoiled with experiences and to have everything all inclusive on that cruise ship. So my thoughts were, I really want my mom to have this experience. I really think she should have it, and my feelings were like she deserves it. I want to see her happy, relaxed, and at ease. So I was excited about it, but at the same time, I was a little bit confused because when I was looking for those experiences and I was booking a cruise ship, there were a lot of kind of like problems, and it was really hard for me and my mom to find the same time for me to have just completely 10 days off my work, and there were some complications, a lot of them. So part of me was excited and happy and joyful. Another part of me was kind of confused and frustrated because it just took a lot of time. Like the whole process, I spent a lot of time just making sure this experience actually happens. And yes, these were actions. Like I had a lot of calls with a cruise ship, this company, and with my mom just to arrange the time when we could both travel. And the result was actually it happened. We booked a cruise ship for 8 days, plus we had 2 or 3 days extra in Amsterdam. And I spent this time just purely with my mom and almost completely off the phone. Not 100%, but almost completely off the phone. And so what this has taught me, so this is a positive event, although like some feelings and thoughts were a little bit confusing or mixed. Like it's not always just you feel positive about it. Sometimes you have mixed feelings. But the lesson I took from here, or this event taught me a lesson that yes, Helena is saying contact a travel consultant. That's a good one. I didn't know that, Helena. Now I will know. I will contact you next time. Good one. That's one lesson. Another lesson is that everything I really truly desire, I can make it happen because I don't give up. I'm determined. If I truly want something, it will happen for me and for people I want to be part of this experience. So that was the lesson. And imagine now if I take these two lessons, one from my burnout that I can just control what is in my control, and this one that everything I desire can actually happen. So if I take these two lessons in 2025, my 2025 will look very different than if I didn't have any lessons from the last year that I could take with me. And it's not just about the lessons, but it means you release that event. So, for example, the burnout event, I took the lesson and I will never forget that burnout. I don't think I will ever forget it, but I am not. I released, I think, the most part of it. I think it will be still releasing and I will still be triggered, right? But not in such a way that is going to sabotage me when I'm setting 2025 goals. Let me know if this makes sense. If it makes sense, just say sense, so that we can continue with the next part. And I'm very happy to hear your experiences as well and your events from last year. So yes, Helena is saying I'm determined. Perfect. That's great. And Yelena is saying being offline increases the fullness of the experience. We have forgotten how to live in the moment. You are so right. You are so right about this, Yelena. I just had 3 days off at Christmas, and I felt so present that I was even like surprised how tasty the potato salad I was eating was. And I ate that potato salad many times in the past on Christmas. At Christmas. So yes, I 100% agree with you. Okay, so now that we have processed the impactful events from last year, we've got the foundation for goal setting, and we have these golden lessons with us. We can take them with us. And now about 2025. So, how do we go about setting goals? What are the important things for us to set the right goals? What do you think? You can just let me know in the chats. What are they? And those of you who have just joined, just welcome to this goal setting session. And I hope you will get out of this session what you came here with, like your intentions and objective for the session. Okay, so Helena is saying smart, so the goals have to be smart. Yes and no. I'll show you what I mean. But the first thing is what I didn't know again a few years ago, um, that we can have ego based goals or purpose based goals. So, ego based is just like, I think I should have it because other people have it, or because I'm in that age, or with that many years of experience, I should have this goal, or I should earn this money because I'm supposed to, right? For the background or situation where I'm in. So, that's the ego based goals. And very often when we set them, we don't achieve them. Because first of all, we don't even enjoy the process because we didn't really choose the process, like we didn't even choose that goal in a way, and we are going for it. And even the result may be okay, kind of like ego, it will make our ego happy. We will just tick off the box, yes, I've achieved another goal. But it's not really that drives us internally. Maybe it pushes us. It's like a push, but not a pull. So when we have purpose based goals or when we set them, they are coming from our hearts. So we truly, truly want them. And if we ask somebody, what is your purpose? I think it's hard to say, right? Unless you have worked on it and you just figure it out. And I think that is a little bit kind of like the idea of purpose is, I don't want to say changing, but you have a clear image with every year, hopefully, like of your purpose. But it's hard to know, like, what is my purpose? I think I partially know what is my purpose, but I still kind of like, I think I'll know even better in 2 years or 3 years, 4 years. But if I ask you, so maybe that's a kind of like hard question, like what is your purpose? But if I ask you, what do you truly desire, or what is important to you, then you can tell me. So what is truly important to you? And we have to have this idea, this brainstorming before we even set goals. Because if you don't have a goal that truly matters to you, that is coming from your purpose, you may give up, or you may not enjoy the process, or even if you achieve it, you will not be happy. Yes. So what truly matters to you? What is important to you? Nicola is saying building my business and being financially free. Yes, that's a very good point. And actually, I want to come back to what Yelena said, being realistic, how much time and effort you can invest. That's a very good point, and I'm going to touch on it. And the thing is, if you are going to put some effort and time into something, at least it should be something you truly enjoy and is your purpose, right? Purpose meaning like it's coming from your like kind of core values, like why you are even here in this world, why. So your bigger why. And if you are thinking about your desires, things which are important to you, then we are coming closer to the right goals that we can set. But the difference between a goal and desire is this, I will tell you. So Helena is saying health is her kind of desire to be healthy, right? That's a desire. We can be more specific, by the way. It helps our brain uh, give more clarity. But basically, the difference between desire and goal is the desire is given to you in a way, but the goal is what you decide to do with the desire. So it's kind of like co-creation of the goal. So being healthy is a desire, or having a business, being financially free is a desire that you have, but you don't have to act on the desire. Or maybe you can act not in a correct way. And I will share with you in a moment what are the reasons why teachers don't achieve goals. And not just teachers, everybody in general, and why I didn't achieve my goals in the past, because there are some elements missing. So, but the difference is, first, it's important to be clear of the desires we have. So I do have a lot of them. I can give you a list of them, but I would love to hear from you. What are the things that are important to you and you desire from the bottom of your heart? And as you will be writing or thinking about them, I can share mine. So my desires are to take my parents to Kerala in India for Ayurveda retreat for 2 weeks completely off and all expenses paid by me. Another desire I have is to have a personal chef or a personal stylist that is helping with my wardrobe, or just to have holistic massages every single week. These are desires I'm just sharing with you, or to contribute um, to the charity that I'm part of and that I wholeheartedly believe in, Every Village Matters, where we support children get education and even get food one meal per day. So this is another. I would love to contribute even more, at least $10,000 and more every single month. I have more desires. Another one is just to take my nephew or niece anytime I want on a trip to Paris, maybe New York, maybe just a zoo in the country, just to have that freedom from work and financial freedom as well, to take them anywhere I want, or even my parents, my friends. So it's very important to allow yourself to know what your heart desires. And at this point, I don't know how you thought when I was sharing my things I desire. Maybe you thought about this is a lot, or I don't know, this is not achievable, or something else. But this really means a lot to me, the things that I desire. And there are a lot of them, as you can see. And some of them I already have been able to manage to achieve, but many of them not. So it's okay to desire whatever your heart wants. And this is where you should let your inner child, in a way, which is the emotional one, the one that is kind of like curious what else is possible, to desire whatever you want. Once you have that, you should have at least a list of 50 to 100 things that you want and desire. And then in the next one, so basically, Helena is saying have time, more time flexibility. That's what Helena desires. You can be even more specific. Maybe that means work just 3 hours a day from whenever I want. And the rest of the time, I do whatever I want with it. So the more specific you are, the easier it is for you to imagine it and to give some feeling to it and some kind of extra details. Travel myself, I'm so used to. This is great. Helena, from you, help people to travel. I can see in every single sentence you have the word travel. So that's obviously a word for you, which I'm very happy to hear. Yelena is saying professionally get over being camera shy. Yes, that's what I was, Yelena, 4 years ago. And I can definitely relate to this. So basically, these are desires. Now, one thing I want to mention here, because one thing is that when we set goals, sometimes they are kind of based on pain and sometimes based on pleasure. So kind of sometimes they are coming out of this, oh, I don't want to experience this pain anymore. That's why I'm setting this goal. So like, I don't want to be worried about money. That's why I want to be financially free. Or I don't want to be shy anymore. That's why I want to be kind of confident on camera. So when they are coming from this fear-based, like from this fear base, then is not really the right way of setting the goals, because we are not setting them in a kind of positive way. So when we are setting a goal, we should look at what kind of contribution we can make to other people or even to ourselves in a positive way. So using positive language. And that's why when we have this kind of goal based on pain or like coming from pain, it means some of the events from the last year or years before were not processed. And that's why it's important to process them, to learn from them, and then to use them when we are setting the goals so that they come from this positive base, right? Not pain, but more pleasure. So, for example, a situation could be like, I want to um, take my parents to Kerala so that they don't have to struggle financially anymore, or they don't have to, I know, suffer health wise anymore. Or I could say, I just want to take my parents to Kerala because they deserve to be treated in the best way possible. And I see them healthy. So, kind of like depending from which place we come, then the the goals that are coming from this kind of pleasure base or like what contribution we want to make are stronger, and we are more likely to stay with them, because the other ones are kind of based on fear. So we are afraid that what if we don't achieve them, so we are kind of attracting more fear. But to be honest, if we have to choose between fear-based goals, sorry, there are three situations. So we can either be motivated by fear, by pleasure, or be in between. And being in between is the worst, actually, because you don't even have enough fear. So the fear-based is actually better than in between. So pleasure-based is the best, fear-based is the second, and in between is the worst, because then it means you are not in enough pain to push yourself or push yourself to do something. But pleasure, it means you don't feel or you don't have enough kind of like how to say it, you don't have, or you can't imagine how this could help you, or you're not excited about it, it's not exciting to you, this goal, enough for you to push yourself to do something. So so that's why it's very important to choose what we are basing our goals on. Good. So that's about, I'm just going to continue. So we have these desires, we turn them into goals by kind of decision, right? Like we ask ourselves a few questions. One of them is, am I really serious about this? Do I want this to happen? And if so, then out of those desires, we should pick just one to three, okay? Not more for 1 year. One to three, one, two, or three. If you do more, your brain will struggle to achieve all of them. And if you, yes, so that's why three is the most. And I wanted to mention actually a few reasons why we don't achieve goals, but I want to let you tell me why you think people don't achieve goals. So, what must be present in a goal setting or goal achieving? What must be present? Helena is saying there is always a price to pay. Yes, and what is that price? What do we pay with, Helena? When we set goals and we are achieving them, what do we pay with? What is the price we pay? What is the price we pay? Bella is saying that makes sense. Pain can impulse you to do something. Yes, exactly. And it's okay, but it's not really correct because you are doing something out of fear, not out of love. So the other one is not just, I said pleasure, but what I meant more is like love based. Okay, it's coming from love, not from fear. Yeah, so that's the same thing I think with children, how they are raised up, or even with students in the classroom. They can do both, something like they can do homework or something because they are afraid or because they love to see better results in their lives. That's the same with you. So punishment is motivating people, right? As well. But is it the right motivation? That's a question. I like that too. So Ali is saying discipline, lack of discipline to stay committed is one of the reasons why most people don't achieve their goals. Yes, that's a good one. Okay, so let me just answer this. There are 4 reasons why people don't achieve goals, and I think you already mentioned a few of them. The first reason is focus. So there are 4 F's, okay? The first one is focus. So focus, it means if you have too many goals, or like let's say you have 20 goals you want to achieve in 2025, or your goals are vague. So let's say you say, I want to be healthier. I want to have more students. I want to be a better teacher. I want to have a better relationship with my spouse. I want to eat more healthily. That's not specific enough. Your brain doesn't really know what it means. Have an idea, but doesn't know what kind of steps you can take towards it, or how will you know you have achieved it. So if a goal cannot be measured, it is hard to go for it even, right? How will I know I have achieved this goal? So that's why we have to be focused by the number of goals we choose and how do we specify those goals. So I will give you an example. Let's say you want to help more students in 2025, and you say, I want to have more students, that's my goal. So to make it more focused and specific, you will say, I want to help at least 100 students in 2025. Or you put any number you want. And the point here is as well, with these goals that I'm just mentioning, we have 2 options, or at least 3 options, how we can set goals. Okay. So the first one is we can just stay where we are right now to set the same goal as we have achieved year after year. So let's say if we speak about money, if you are earning 1,000, you say, I will earn 1,000 this year. Because you have achieved it many times, is not really any motivation or inspiration for you to grow, right? But you can do that. The next one could be a little bit of stretch. So, if you plan everything well, you can achieve it. So, let's say people call it SMART goals, or like, no, I don't know. I think it's called SMART goals, right? So, if you push yourself a little bit, you can achieve it, or a little bit more, you can achieve it. So let's say you would say, oh, I'm earning 1,000 right now. I know if I get more students, or if I put them in groups, or if I do this and this, I can earn 1,500. Okay, that would be the next type of the goal you could have. Just little bit stretch goal. But then we can have the third type, which I'm trying to encourage you to go for, which is something you don't need to know how to achieve, but you want it from the bottom of your heart. So it has to be still specific, but you don't know how to achieve it. It's like a big of a stretch. And then kind of the purpose of goal setting is not actually even goals, the goal itself, but it's for you to grow. So let's say if you helped 10 people, 10 students, or I don't know, 15 students or 20 students last year, and you say now 100 students I want to help, maybe it's a big of a stretch for like, how can I do that? But it's something you want from the bottom of your heart. So you don't have to be realistic, but you have to be specific and you need to know why. So that's the focus. Okay. So let's say the goal is I want to help at least 100 students this year, or I want to earn at least 5,000 this year. Let's say that's a big stretch. Or I want to travel to at least 3 countries abroad with my family for 1 week each holiday, or I don't know if that's about traveling, whatever it is for you. Um, so that's the goal, and that's the focus part. Okay. The second one is anybody knows. So we have 4 F's. The first one is focus. Ali mentioned discipline, but discipline will be part of the fourth one. It just begins with a different letter, but it's pretty much the same thing. But what is the second one? So we have focus, the first one. What is the second one? What do you think? The second one. 4 F's. It's 4 F's, and the second one will be. Anybody wants to guess? Or will I have to reveal it to you? Okay, the second F is actually feeling. So you can have the most specific goal, and you can be focused. Yeah, it can be a good goal, but if you don't feel anything about it, if you don't feel really like you want it, so this is kind of this desire. I really want it. I get not just emotional, but it gets me moving. It gets my body moving. It gets my energy moving. Like I want to go for it. Like I kind of have feelings for that goal in a way. So you have to feel that goal. And then you basically, somebody once said, like, you don't even go for that goal for the goal itself, but for the feeling you would feel if you achieve that goal. So let's say for somebody who wants to travel, what is the feeling if you travel? How do you feel when you travel? Or somebody who wants to be financially free, what is that feeling? Or somebody who wants to take their parents on a trip, how would you feel? How would you feel? Would you feel proud? Would you feel joyful, at peace, fulfilled? How would you feel? So that's the question, the feeling. And if you don't feel the goal, if you don't have any feeling for it, it's going to be super hard, or it's going to be really, really hard work. And I would even say almost impossible to achieve it. Then there will be just ego-based goal that you don't even want, and the process won't be enjoyable, and maybe even the time for you to achieve it will take longer. So, um, yes, so that's what it is about feeling. And now, how can you kind of improve or develop feeling for your goal? So we can ask the same thing, like, how can I develop feeling for another human being, right? You can do it by thinking about specific scenes you would love to experience as part of this goal. So, for example, I would see myself already in Kerala, in India, with my parents in that center, Ayurveda center, where we get holistic treatment every single day. And I see my parents happy, being in a nice, loving relationship, and feeling better and younger in their body day by day. So that's the feeling. When I describe it like this, when I give more details to it, to this specific scene from that goal being achieved, I feel better. And this feeling helps me do actions which are aligned with that result I want to get. So I would potentially maybe start saving money. I would maybe learn how to delegate things even more so that I can actually disappear from business for 2 weeks, completely off, with my phone completely off, switch off. Or I will learn how to, then I will start dealing with practicalities like book a flight, or I don't know, contact the centers. So you need to have kind of like this feeling. And because it's coming from love, I'm going to be pulled towards it, not pushed. So feeling is very important. So by you imagining that that already happened is going to give you feeling, and then your brain will not know if this already happened or not. And because we will not know, it will look like, oh, it's already happening, I'm already in Kerala with my parents. Your brain will give you will support you better in finding the right actions for you to achieve it. So the same thing, like if you want to have 100 students, how would it make you feel? What is one scene you can imagine from your goal being achieved? So maybe you will have a party by the end of the year in 2025, and all these 100 people will be in that Zoom session if it's virtual. If it's physical, maybe in the classroom. But let's say it's virtual and Zoom, and everybody will share one win from that year, how you help them as a teacher, or maybe how their life is easier because they have worked on their skills with you as their teacher. So, and you imagine that scene, and you will be connecting with that scene that evokes certain feeling in your body. And then when you feel it, you will be more encouraged to do certain actions. So that's how you can develop and improve feeling when it comes to that goal. So we had focus, feeling, and now I can see some of you mentioned two more, and I love it. Faith or failure, exactly. That's number 3. So we are going to focus on faith. Actually, faith in something is having growth mindset. Failure, it's a fixed mindset when we judge ourselves because we failed. But if somebody has faith, that doesn't mean the person doesn't fail. They fail a lot of times, but they see fail as kind of learning process, and then how they can improve the process. So that's a very good point, Yelena. So that's number 3 point. And actually, what Ali is saying, that's number 4. Follow through. I will share that a little bit later. So exactly as Yelena said, is faith. The third one is faith. Now the question is, how can you develop faith in your goal? How can you believe you can achieve your goal? How can you? So one thing is you have faith in your goal, and then you have faith in yourself, you can achieve it. Because if you have faith in your goal, let's say if somebody else has already earned 5,000 per month, like another teacher, you can see it's possible. So you have faith in the goal. But then you ask yourself, but can I achieve it? So you need to have faith in yourself as well. And how can you improve both? So faith in your goal, you can improve by looking around if anybody has achieved that. If anybody has achieved that, it means it's possible. Or you can look in the past and look at different things you achieved in the past, and they were impossible at that time, which means it gives you hope and faith that if I achieve that, I can certainly achieve this as well. I don't know how right now, but I know I can. So that's how you can improve faith in your goal. Now, faith in your skills, sorry, not in your skills, in your skills or capability to achieve that goal. So that's another one. And this one you can achieve by always identifying what you can do to achieve that goal and then seeing every single win. So let's say for me to take my parents to Kerala, the things I could achieve towards it to improve my faith in my skills that it's possible, I could save, let's say, 50 pounds, dollars, whatever, per month. So let's say the whole trip would cost 5,000, or maybe more actually. But let's say I would put 50 already pounds, which is not a lot, right? I would put aside, and I would already see it as a win, kind of like, okay, I have faith that I can achieve it. I already started. So it's not a big, like 50, let's say, dollars. It's much less than $5,000. So I know it's not the same. But if you don't train your brain to see small wins, how you can achieve it, or like how you can go through it, like towards it, then it won't be possible. So we need to train ourselves or train our brain to see every single win. Or let's say I would manage to reduce my working hours every week by 10 minutes because I would delegate just one task or two tasks to somebody else on my team. Because the point would be, can I go away from business for 2 weeks without business suffering? So let's say I would already see these wins, these 10 minutes of delegation every week as a great thing. And that would improve my faith in my capabilities. I can go towards it. Maybe it's tiny steps every week or every day, but I can. So that's the question. Faith in your goal, faith in yourself. So you look for proof to consciously kind of see it's possible by seeing other people who achieved it, or maybe you similar things in the past. And then you said you celebrate wins, but at the same time, you keep seeing yourself with that goal. So me in Kerala with my parents, or you with 100 students that you are helping. And the more you make yourself see yourself with that goal, the more your brain will be convinced, or like kind of maybe confused at the beginning. Is this real or not? But usually our brain cannot tell the difference when subconsciously we already keep seeing ourselves with that. And that will be how you can actually improve your faith in your goal and in yourself to achieve it. Let me know if this makes sense, or if you have any examples you would like to share. Let me know. That's the third one. And we will continue with the fourth one, which is the last one for today. Okay, so the last one is from Ali, who said, follow through, staying consistent and committed to taking action towards your goals. Perfectly said. So exactly, Ali. Um, I call it in this framework. It's called framework, but pretty much follow through framework and then follow through. Yes, you have to follow through your framework. So the framework means what is in place there for me to achieve it. And now this is where we make our rational brain happy. Because if you just come up with a goal, I want 100 students, I want 10,000 a month, I want to take my parents to Kerala, or I don't know, something else, and your brain is like, but wait, how can you go away from business for 2 weeks? How can you get these 100 students in 1 year? Or how can you get this 10,000 in 1 month, per month, every month? So your brain gets kind of scared and like, oh, wait a minute. So that's why this framework is very important, because you try to intuitively, roughly plan what would need to happen for you to achieve it. Now, this is not the exact plan, and maybe this plan will not work at all. But what you're trying to make your brain do is to, well, help you planning what would need to happen for you to achieve it. And maybe you can even write January, February, and each month down for this year. And you can already write roughly what kind of things you would have to do in January, February, March, April, May, June, or even what kind of habits you would need to adopt, or what kind of steps you will need to take. And this is just the brainstorming kind of like rough plan. And then out of those ideas, you will have a little bit more clarity. Now, that's one way how you can do it. Or straight away, if for you to make your brain a little bit feel more at ease, you can plan the next milestone. When I say milestone, that's a big step, but still is a step that doesn't make your rational brain scared, or like confused, or like panicking, like how can I achieve it? So let's say in my case, the first milestone, if I want to take my parents to Kerala, would be to save the first 1,000, let's say, okay? That would be the first milestone, just to see that, okay, I'm already getting the money. Or let's say another milestone could be, I reduce my weekly working hours by 1 hour. So let's say I'm working now 40 hours. My first milestone would be, how can I delegate this 1 hour per week to my team members, so the work is done, but not necessarily by me, so that I work 39 hours, let's say. How can I do it? So that will be my next first milestone. Or for you, if you want to have 100 students, the first milestone can be, how can I get the first 10 or 15? So here it's easier for your brain to imagine, okay, I can achieve that. So it's kind of like relief. Like I can do that. I still don't know how can I get 100 students, but I can get 10 or 15. Or I still don't know how I could be 2 weeks completely off, take my parents, pay for all the expenses in Kerala, but I can already know how to save 1,000. Or like at least it's more manageable, and I will plan the next steps towards this 1,000. Oh, so that's what I wanted to say. This is about the framework, that it's nice to believe in your goal, to be focused, to have feelings for it. But if you don't have the framework, then you're just goal setting, but not really kind of achieving. So for this framework, again, what will be the next milestone will be the question, and then what are the next steps towards that first milestone? And usually it's like, what is the very next step? Practical, simple, tangible. So let's say for me, it would be to set up a separate sub account, or I don't know how you call it, sub account on my, as part of my bank account, where I would save money for the trip with my parents. Maybe for some of you who, let's say, are not present on LinkedIn, or your LinkedIn is not updated, your first step would be, if you want to have 100 students virtually in 2025, maybe would be to update your LinkedIn profile, so that at least students can see what you do, who you help, if they can be helped by you, if you can help them, if you understand what kind of problems they have and what kind of experience you have in helping students, maybe that will be your first milestone. Maybe the second one would be to get my first student. Right? So depending, you can have smaller milestones or bigger milestones. Depends on you how you want to do it. But this is less scary for your brain and more, and it's easier, as Ali said, to follow through. Yeah, it's easier to follow through. So that's what I wanted to share. Focus, feeling, faith, and framework. These four F's are important for us to achieve our goals. And when we lack any of them, it's going to be hard, if not impossible. And again, for us to set the right goals, they need to come from our purpose, what we truly want, what truly matters to us. And for us to even have the right foundation and a good foundation for goal setting, we have to take a look at our previous year, or maybe even the previous years, to see what kind of things happened, had impact on us, and how we are carrying those things or emotional baggage from those events into 2025. And that's why we are not fully kind of like, not even committed but focused, because we still have a lot of emotional baggage from previous years. So it's important to resolve as much as possible, or to release as much as possible, by understanding the patterns. What were my thoughts, feelings, and actions that led to this event? When I release all of that, I have the foundation to set goals. And then once I'm setting goals, they are coming from my purpose, and I follow these four F's: faith, focus, feeling, and framework. It's going to be a really good year. And you will say by the end of this year, what a year. And you will be proud of yourself, even if you don't achieve your goal, which may happen. Even if you don't achieve your goal, the worst thing that will happen is you spend time on something that you desired and was important to you at the time when you set that goal, right? If we are setting them from that place of importance and desire, we desire them. The worst thing is you just spend time on something you desired. And then you can ask yourself by the end of the year, did I truly desire this goal? The second one is, did I believe I can achieve it? And the third one, have I done everything that was in my framework, and did I follow through with it? If not, what I can improve. And if you feel like, okay, I haven't desired enough, I haven't done everything I could, I didn't believe in it, you need to fix every single of them. And then you just need to change the date. You may not be able to achieve it by 2025. Maybe you will have these 100 students by the end of 2026. But you're still going for something which is important to you and matters to you. So that's what is important. It's not from your ego, it's from your purpose, from your core values, from the bottom of your heart, something that you truly want. So any questions about anything I've said or anything I haven't said, and you would love to just ask about it? Or maybe if you want more clarity on your goal, or on these four F's that I mentioned, or on the next action, the right next action that you have to take. If you don't have any questions, I just want to share my screen with you and just show you when the next event is going to happen. So these mindset sessions with me are at the moment every other Wednesday. So these live sessions, I mean, every other Wednesday. So the next one will be 2 weeks from now on Wednesday, the same time, 8 a.m. Eastern time, so Boston time. You can always, I will share this link with you, by the way, but you can always watch the previous recordings here, because I had a lot of sessions about different things, as you can see. So you can just go through these sessions and just maybe get inspired if you want to. So that's one thing. Another one is that if you want to have this in your calendar every time, you just click on respond, and it will be automatically will be able to sign up for this event, and then you will be able to attend. Okay, so that's what I want to share with you, one thing. And another one is, every other week on Wednesday as well, I release my podcast. So next week on Wednesday, I will release my next podcast episode, and that one will be about purpose, just purely about purpose. And I will share some interesting things. If you want to listen to it, I will share it with you as well. Yes, this will be on YouTube. Yes, this will be on YouTube. It's recorded, Catherine. Um, Automatically recorded, so you will be able to watch it straight away after we finish. It's okay, Catherine. So the beginning was actually very important, but if you're able to watch the recording, you will be able to just to see the whole session. Um, I'm very happy. I've given you food for thought, Yelena. Um, oh wow, thank you so much for these beautiful words that you're sharing. Thank you so much. I'm very happy helping. So these sessions are actually helping me as well, because my purpose, kind of the purpose I can see right now, the picture of my purpose I can see right now, is to help teachers feel more respected, prestigious, and prosperous while they do what they do, which is teaching, and while they have freedom they desire to have. And I help teachers through mainly mindset work. And if you have been following for some time, some of you, you know I like to be very practical and tangible, um, with the things. So I give very practical and tangible tips, and not just tips, but guidance for you to achieve what you want to achieve. Or I speak about different mindset topics because 95% of what we do is mindset. And even if we follow the best possible strategy for us to get more students, to be better teachers, if we are not coming from the right place of mind, if we don't know how to process our emotions, if we don't know how to set goals or even priorities for the week, or if we are afraid, if we feel imposters, there are a lot of mindset topics we can speak about. It's hard to achieve whatever you want to achieve. So that's why I want to dedicate my my work to teachers, and I'm a teacher myself. So this is for me as well. Whatever I'm sharing with you, I follow myself rigorously and in a disciplined way every single day. But I have my days as well. So sometimes I don't follow what I say. And I guess that's with everything. Okay, and I want to share the podcast with you as well, just in case you want to hear about the purpose, which I will share next week. And my podcast is just less than 10 minutes. So these sessions are 1 hour, but I try to make them more interactive. The podcast will be just 10 minutes or less. And I am just going to share the link with you to my podcast so that you can, if you are interested, you can even watch the next episode. Okay. Okay. So let me know if you achieved. Sorry, if you can open the podcast as well. And that one is every other week as well. So pretty much every Wednesday there is something about mindset from me, either live here or on podcast, via podcast. Okay. Great. So any takeaways before we finish today? Any takeaways from you before we finish? We have 2 minutes left. Nicola is saying affirmations and manifestation. Yes. It's important to know what we want, affirm it, and then manifest it. Sometimes affirmations can be tricky, and we sometimes are affirming things we don't truly believe in, and then they are not really working well. So it's very important to believe in what you want to affirm. But yes, that is a very good takeaway. If you have any other takeaways, just share them with me. And if not, I'll see you in 2 weeks in this live session again with me. And very likely we are going to speak about productivity or anything related to it. And next week, if you want to follow my podcast, it's going to be about how to set purpose driven goals. So, there I will mainly just pay attention to purpose and how you can find out what is purpose and what kind of exercise you can do to find out what are the things that are important to you. Thank you so much again, everybody, for being here, and have a beautiful day and happy 2025. Bye bye.